Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are all over the world. Yes, thank you so much. I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. Invite your friends to come on. I will encourage you to subscribe to this channel and then press the notification button. Blessing Priye, thank you so much. Good morning. Rick Bells, Brendo, my dear, how are you? Where are you located, Rick Bell? Please always let me know where you are viewing from. Thank you so much. Invite others to join. Dominic Ebere, thank you so much. Basi, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're about to share a very key subject matter, that Private School Owners Association from Kenya. Moses, thank you so much. Andrew from Nairobi. I enjoyed that central part of Nairobi, Ambassador Hotel area, Stanley Hotel, where the former embassy was. Pastor Derek. Pastor Derek, thank you so much. Invite your friends. I really enjoyed that central part of Nairobi. Those are your black taxis. I stayed in Red Court Hotel, Stanley Hotel, Nairobi, Hilton, beautiful places. Patrick from Lagos, thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear from you. Ebere from Toronto, Canada. Jerome from Aba, my spiritual city. Johannesburg. Maria, Joburg. Yeah, I was in Joburg sometime, stayed in Germiston, and we came to Santin, to Yeovil, but I was afraid of, what's the name of that place again? Hillbrow, so scared of Hillbrow. Good morning, Ayama from Ghana. Nkrakra soup. Krakra soup, I like that soup. And Accra pepper soup. Beautiful country. So glad to have you all tuned in. So I'm going to start, others can join. A cooperative, Private School Owners Associations of Nigeria, EWU. EWU is, we have EWU in Edo State, but we have EWU in Roboland, in Ughelli South. So the leadership consulted me to give them a lecture on managing financial resources in a harsh economy. I've sent the material to them, but I felt I should leave it here for posterity and also to share with you some of my experiences. Harsh economies are economies that, thank you, we're back. One of them is economic cycles. Research has shown in economics that every 6 to 10 years, you will have an economic cycle. They started doing that research from 1929, 1931, the Great Depression. They went back into history and then they came forward. Remember, there was a famine in the time of Abraham, and there was a famine in the time of Isaac. And I think in the time of the disciples, there was another famine. So there was famine in the time of Elimelech, Ruth. And so they found out that for every 6 to 10 years, there are economic cycles. Economic cycles involve periods of boom. There is a boom, and then periods of burst of the bubble. So the economy will improve, usually with new introductions, new discoveries, and new policies. From Kigali, I like Kigali. Thank you so much. So there are periods of economic boom, Also in personal lives, periods of economic boom, then the bubble will burst, then the economy will come nosedive, then it reaches a valley, then it climbs up again and reaches a plateau. That is to say, from the Bible say, and Naomi heard that there was now bread in Bethlehem. Bethlehem means the house of bread, but temporarily there was hunger and there was no bread in Bethlehem, no bread in the house of bread. And Naomi and the husband migrated to Moab. We shall come to that. So you find out that there are economic cycles. And because there are economic cycles, you must plan for them. You must plan for them. Don't just, in the time of Joseph, there were 7 years of fat cows and 7 years of lean cows. Economic cycles have been in history, and they are realities that most of us Christians don't know about. And then there are the cycles of plague. Like coronavirus came. There was a coronavirus that came 100 years ago in 1918, and several people died. And so there are cycles of plagues. So we must be very careful and plan in advance so that we don't get caught on our ways. Economic cycles usually follow economic depressions. Economic depressions are long periods of non-economic growth. That is, there is no economic growth. 1 quarter, 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter, maybe for 4 quarters, no economic growth, then the economy is depressed. And when that happens, there are several things that follow. Economic growth, there is unemployment, factories will close down, businesses will close down, inflation rate might go up, few currency, a lot of money will be chasing few goods. It happened in Zimbabwe, it happened in Argentina, it happened in Nigeria one time when we didn't have essential commodities in Buhari's time. And then 40 years later, we still suffered another harsh economic climate. So economic history has a way of repeating itself. And if it happens every 6 to 10 years, if you are 30 years old now and you live up to 90, so you might experience between 5 to 10 economic cycles. So what I'm teaching now is for posterity, and you must prepare for it. So what are the causes of harsh economic climates and economic depression? Number one, bad governance. Bad governance. We've had 8 years of terrible bad governance. And bad governance will include corruption. Corruption is one of the major factors affecting underdeveloped economies where you have elite capture. If elite capture is when a few people corner the Commonwealth, like in Nigeria, the salaries for the executive and the legislative arms of government take a great chunk of our GDP. And the way they inflate contracts and steal money, blatantly steal money, is terrible. So, bad governance. Then excessive borrowing capital because of the reckless borrowing of our leaders. It will shock you. But I also know people who always borrow to do things. And the reason they borrow is that they don't prioritize, they don't budget, they don't anticipate challenges. So they always run into financial roadblocks and they borrow. The next thing is that when countries borrow too much relative to their GDP, they now service their debts with so much percentage of their GDP. And the Western world would always want you to be a borrower because a borrower becomes a slave to the lender. When you borrow from people, you become a slave to them. It's in the Bible. And so African nations, South American nations, some poor Asian nations are slaves to those who they borrow from. When you borrow from the World Bank, you borrow from America, you borrow from the Paris Club, they will determine the contractors that will handle the contract. They will bring workers. They will determine where you buy equipment from. They will determine where you buy whatever from. And the post commissioning maintenance, they will determine it. So you see, we are enslaved by these colonial masters. That's why they might not like people like Paul Kagame. They didn't like Mugabe. They didn't like Gaddafi. And sometimes they call, our leaders have faults. Their leaders also have faults. But they will label our leaders and then we will kill our leaders on their behalf. And then the cycle of slavery continues. Then sometimes as a result of wrong policies like the Naira color change. I didn't see it as currency change. They just changed the colors. Naira color change that was badly executed and could not achieve its desired purpose. And the resultant effect that at one time, we couldn't get any money to do anything. That was a harsh economic climate. Then sometimes natural disasters like drought. There was a lot of drought in East Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, and some of those countries there. You remember We Are the World, the song. There was drought recently in some East African countries. Then the natural disasters like earthquakes. Thank God in Africa we don't have much of earthquakes, but when there are earthquakes like in Iran and some other places, then the Ring of Fire, where you have Indonesia, these countries in the Ring of Fire, they have a lot of earthquakes because tectonic plates meet there. Then the next thing is that sometimes flood, like the recent flood that took place in southern Nigeria, northern Nigeria, a lot of businesses were devastated, houses, people died. I took up the responsibility in my own locality, like as I did 10 years back. And I raised money from online, I raised money from my radio broadcast. People donated a lot of materials, food, clothing, shoes, anything. And then donated money from the United States, the UK, and several nations. And my team and I went and distributed materials to these people who were once flourishing, but were now sleeping in public buildings. And then we had the COVID-19 lockdown that shut down the economies of most nations. And then when there are too many wars, like when Bill Clinton left, he left a good economy. Then George Bush came in, he started fighting several wars in several fronts. And when you fight wars, in economics, it's called living on capital. When you start living on your resources, you find out resources you are supposed to invest for production. You are using them to buy ammunition, to ferry soldiers, and all stuff. So when you fight many wars, like in Nigeria, we've been fighting terrorism, fighting insurrection, separatist forces. I think in Ethiopia, they are fighting the Oromo people. In Somalia, they are fighting. In northern Kenya, the Somali Al-Shabaab they are invading. When you fight too many wars, you find out that monies you are supposed to use to develop your economy, you'll be using them to buy ammunition from these advanced countries. I know that the economies of Ukraine and Russia will suffer very greatly. The same thing is a personal life. You can get involved in too many troubles. When you get in too many troubles, too many police cases, too many personal fights, too many squabbles, you will find out that you are not doing well. I avoid trouble a great deal. avoid a lot of unnecessary troubles, a great deal. So sometimes economic sanctions can bring harsh economic conditions. The sanctions by the UK and several nations on Zimbabwe during Mugabe's time led to a lot of economic hardship. Sanctions. I wonder why we don't have the capacity to sanction them, but they sanction us all the time. When they invade our territories, they steal our mineral resources, they do all kinds of rubbish. We don't have the capacity to sanction them. That's one of the challenges of being underdeveloped countries, or some of them are even called underdeveloping countries. Like in Nigeria now, we are now underdeveloping. That is, we are progressively going down the drain. So, how do you come out of harsh economic conditions? How do nations come out of harsh economic conditions? But I will concentrate on the individual, because one of the things I have learned to do is to have a personal economy within the national economy. I try to separate my personal economy from the national economy. This Buhari period that people have complained so much, I have made more money, had more wealth, had more influence, acquired more properties than before Buhari era. So you need to separate your economy from the economy of the country. It's difficult, but it's possible. There were people who did very well in Soweto, black people who did very well in Soweto during the apartheid regime. There was a laundryman who became a millionaire in Soweto during the apartheid regime. So the Jehovah's Witnesses don't partake in politics, but a lot of them do well in their private capacities. So the first thing you must realize is that there are economic cycles. So start to plan ahead. One of the things that helped me during the lockdown until today is that I had solar energy. I'm using solar energy now. There's no electricity around for some days now, but I have solar energy. I installed solar power by the philosophy of the ant, the principle of gradualism. I bought panels one after the other until I had 9 solar panels. I bought batteries one after the other, bought the charge controller and whatever, and then they installed. I paid some money in, then I finally finished paying. So we've had regular electricity to a large extent, though I need to replace the batteries, and I'm going to be replacing the batteries one after the other. Public water supply in Nigeria is poor, but I have regular water supply because I put solar water pump so I can harness the energy of the sun and get solar. My fridge, my foodstuffs are frozen, and I don't need to be cooking. And so I have rechargeable fan. When there is no electricity, we don't sweat. I have a lot of rechargeable lamps. When there is no electricity, I have these lamps, and these lamps act as radios, and they can also charge my phones. So think ahead. Oh, Eldoret, beautiful town, Eldoret, beautiful town in Kenya. So think ahead of them. Go for renewable energy. I have a big diesel generator there. I've not bought diesel for it for a long time. Mombasa. I really want to visit Mombasa. Those your beautiful streets. There's a dance. Your women dance there with umbrella. I would like to see that. How do I manage during the wet season? I will tell you that. I put on my power, my solar energy. I put only a few things on. I've pumped water now. I've off the water pump. I've put on my freezer on. All my fans are off. So I can titrate and regulate my energy. You see, the African is too used to consumption, in bulk consumption, because God favored us. We have cows, we have everything. So I try as much as possible to regulate how I use my stuff. When I was in Madagascar and Antananarivo, if you leave the room, electricity goes off. You enter the next step, electricity comes on. You leave one, electricity goes off. They are conserving energy. So I always adjust my lifestyle to fit the new realities. So some of my young friends will just come in, they want to put on lights. No, I don't live like that. When I leave the room, I put off my light. If I'm in a room, I don't need the electricity, I leave it, off it. There is a house I have where I run to if I want marital social distancing. The windows are designed in such a way that sunlight floods the whole house. The whole house is lit up during the day and sometimes during the night. So you use minimum electricity. Somebody asked a question about investment. I can't see that question unless you bring it up. So the next thing is, when there is a harsh economy, personal or national or regional, the first thing you need to do is a review. Most people blame others for what they can solve or what they are responsible for. In Africa, we blame colonial masters, like as I just did. We blame imperialists. We blame multinationals. We blame our tribal rivals. Either Kikuyu will blame Luo, Luo will blame another tribe, somebody will blame Kumanjaro or whatever, Urobo will blame Ishekiri, Northerners will blame Southerners. But most times, we are our own problems. So, review your life. Where have you gone wrong? What things did you not do well? I had to review my life at the age of 40. I found where I had not done well, and I knew what I needed to do. So then look closely at what you have. Your situation, look very closely. Review it. For Abraham, it was relocation. He moved to Egypt. For Isaac, God told him not to relocate. So you must need divine instructions. Ruth, Naomi, and Abimelech relocated. It was not good for them. So I relocated. I relocated from Aba when I found out that my main strength is in my brain. And I had learned enough from the Aba people, learned from the Igbo people, their entrepreneurial nature, their frugality, and their doggedness in enterprise. So I learned that. And I needed to move. I needed to go out to an environment where I could have enough space to flourish. So I relocated. Today in Nigeria, there's something called Japa. That is to say, people are going overseas. I have friends who relocated overseas that have done very well. I have friends that relocated to other cities, but I also had the ones that relocated from Ogeli here and they didn't do well. Some relocated to Lagos, they didn't do well, and some came back to where they left. So before you relocate, think very well. Think very well. For Ruth relocated, and her story, she relocated from Moab to Bethlehem, and the curse that was placed on Moabitesses and their descendants was lifted by God. It did not reach the 10 generations. Don't let any Bible scholar deceive you. Don't let Google deceive you. Well, if you Google how many generations from Ruth to David, they will say 10 generations. No. Ruth is the great-grandmother of David. It is only 4 generations. So you must notice, you must know that we Africans have come to a point of maturity where we can interpret scriptures on our own. So not everything you Google that is correct. Ruth is the great grandmother of Boaz, and you should know it. It is only 4 generations. The limitation on on Ruth was suspended. So, and Ruth prospered. She relocated. Orpah refused to relocate, and she went into oblivion. So you must learn to relocate if it is an instruction from God. You must be very careful, because if God does not go with you, the battles might be difficult. If he says, I will go with you, I will be before you, do not be afraid, do not be dismayed, so that you will know I'm your helper. It took me 3 years, but I heard clearly that I should relocate and come to Ughelli and restart my life and raise a new generation. So it is what a new generation of Africans raise 1 million people like me, or that will be better than me. 1 million people in Africa who are educated, who have wisdom, who will have anointing, and then they will have resources. 1 million people that will light their candles in their different localities, use their candles to light other people's candles. And I heard specifically, these words you've heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, and trust to reliable men who are able to teach others. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing what I was told to do, and I'm getting results. One of the things I was instructed, that I was coming to meet a people, very hard people, and I should not be afraid of them. I should be bold. That if I was bold to say the truth without fearing, that he will prosper me. And the Lord has prospered me as I followed his instructions. So, think carefully before you move. The next thing is that after a total reappraisal of your life, the way you have been, your asset and your liabilities, you will need a readjustment. I will talk about my experience during COVID, during the COVID-19 lockdown. Thank you so much from Ghana. When will you have live investment? Oh, the thing has gone off again. I try to limit my teachings on specific areas of investment. I just give broad areas of investment. And if there's a video I did, investment opportunities in Nigeria, they can be replicated in any country. Those opportunities are available in any country. One of the days I might just teach you about areas you can invest in. So when COVID-19 came and everywhere was locked down, I did a review. What do I have left? Our schools were closed. I could not go and preach in places. The churches were closed. The companies were closed. Everything was shut down. So I needed to review what I had in hand. We found out that snails were crawling in our plantain plantation. Snails were crawling in our plantain plantation, in our compound. So my wife and I went and we picked snails. There is this 20-liter paint bucket, small snails. There are specific snails that we eat in our area. So I went there and picked snails with my wife. 10 o'clock in the night, we will go and pick snails. And so we picked a bucket filled with snails. And then we cracked them, prepared them, we put them in the freezer. Thank God we had this solar freezer. We put them in the freezer. And then we started eating them bit by bit. We cooked what we call banga soup from here, made from palm nut. Then we cooked stew and we were eating them gradually. The first thing I did was that I reduced the portion I was eating. Eat small, keep. We won't die. Eat small, keep. Freeze the remaining one, eat it the next day like that. So I said earlier on that it is good to diversify your streams of income very early in life. There's a man called Boma Eriko Sima of Radio Rivers 2 FM Stereo. He said, rats won't get one hole, they live long. Rat won't get one hole, they live long. Who is that? Ben. Oh, your comment has gone. If you can bring it up again, I will read it. So, or you can send me a private message on WhatsApp. +234 70 52 6763. So, okay. At 47, you still have a long time to go. You still have a lot. You will do well. So, diversify your streams of income very early. No matter how small the income that comes in, as long as there is a trickle from somewhere, it will help and augment whatever you are getting from somewhere. But you need the telephone number +234, that's the Nigerian code, 70 52 13 6763. +234 70 52 13 6763. So, before the COVID-19 lockdown, I had known very early that I must have different streams of income, no matter how small. There was a time I was selling sugar cane in my school. Somebody gave me sugar cane. I didn't eat all. I planted, and then I had sugar cane all over. And the children will buy sugar cane. Even if I sell sugar cane of 1,500, that will block one leakage in my life. So it happened that I had plantains in my compound, and I picked 8 plantain suckers from somewhere. Somebody gave me 2. And I multiplied them all over the place. There was a month, 1 year, I sold plantain suckers of 100,000 from the school and my compound, 100,000 naira. And I subsequently supplied plantain suckers of 2.5 million to somebody, plantain and banana suckers. So diversify your streams of income. What you prepare for, what you prepare for does not catch you unawares. Somebody said that when a cripple hears that the market has scattered and people are running, he does not get caught unawares. So we had a poultry in our compound, so we were selling eggs, and by Easter of that year, we were selling broilers. So we had things in our compound. Like as I said, if you buy land in the outskirts of the town, don't be interlocking up. You can grow potatoes in cartons. You can grow yams. You can grow several things in your compound. You can rear rabbits. You can rear grass cutters. You can rear snails in your compound. So have an economy where you live. So we're selling eggs. We're selling broilers. I said we had plantains in the compound, so we didn't need to buy plantains. Then we had more than 40 acres I had bought over a period of 9 years. And so we went there and we started farming on the 40 acres. Another thing, when there was lockdown, the TV station and the radio station where I used to do my broadcast were closed. And there is something that the fire in my bones statement in the Bible, it applies to my life. The content in my life, I need to bring them out to meet people. If wicked people can spread demons, good people should spread anointing and they should spread grace. If people can spread witchcraft, I should spread anointing, spread grace. And as I said, your life is like a perfume. If it remains in a bottle, the fragrance will not be perceived by others. So you break the alabaster jar of your life. So there was this need to break the alabaster jar and spread my perfume on humanity. And the stations were closed. So I had an inspiration. When you are in difficulties, be calm. Hear from God. When you are in difficulties, be calm. Hear from reasonable people. And Naomi heard that there was food, there was bread in Bethlehem. And Naomi heard that Boaz was threshing wheat. So hear. Cool. Don't listen to the complaints. Don't listen to the grumbling. Listen for positive information that can change your circumstances. So I started doing video recording with my phone. It just came as an inspiration, and I was doing video recording with my phone as I was going to the farm, and I posted these videos, and these videos changed my life. I posted one video. Somebody made a promise of one. Oh, I think this is my first follower from Israel. Thank you so much. F. Young from Israel. Thank you so much. I think you are the first person I'm seeing from Israel. Please share these videos and the platform with people in Israel. That's good. So glad to hear from you. So I started doing these videos, and somebody saw it in the United States when I shared the vision of Petra Institute. And he made a promise to give me 1 billion. I was shocked. 1 billion. And he has given me 1,150,000 so far. When people make promises, I don't put them under pressure. At least he sees my videos. And he said he will help me build the institution. Thank you. Call me by 8 p.m. Nigerian time, Effiong. So I made videos, and from the videos, I became a global citizen from the videos when I did one on NSAS, inspiration, instruction. I did a video, somebody saw me and asked me, how could he be part of the business the farming I was doing there? I told him I will help him set up his own. He sent me 3 million naira, and he's been a blessing to me. That Hilux you see, he sent it, paid for my radio program. So by just re-strategizing to still reach the world, I got finances coming in from the world. It is this re-strategizing of doing farm fellowship, doing videos in the farm, that I started selling gari, and that's how many of you came to know me. The video I did in the farm, that's how that company called me to Lagos to give lectures to the top management, and they paid me. The videos I did in the farm, that's where I was invited to go and speak to 4,000 pastors. So I re-strategized, and I keyed into modern technology. If you keep doing the same things the same way, as in the same place with the same people expecting different results, somebody said that you are a madman. And so re-strategize. The whole family, including my last born that came from Europe for holidays, my wife, her PA, and the friends of my son, we started farming, and we were doing videos. And I decided that in as much as I could not bring up a studio, I needed to be flexible in doing my videos, and anything I wore, any place I was, I will do a video. So my channel is not as sophisticated as other channels, but it has content. What I needed to bring out was content. Somebody said that, okay, we will come to a cooperative. Yes, thank you. Oh, you started a cooperative? Okay, thank you. We will discuss. So somebody said that my dressing was not good, and the next day I entered a wheelbarrow with dirty jeans and dirty shoes and did a video. And the video, people still listen to it. And so that's how I built this brand that I'm not too serious with myself, but people are serious with what I'm doing. Like this jersey now, somebody bought several. This is a Brazilian jersey. Somebody bought 5 of them and sent to me so that I can be wearing to do videos. So thank you so much for whoever sent this. Now, so the whole family started farming, and that brought food, that brought some money, that brought publicity, that grew the ministry. It was in the hardship. There's usually a period of improvement in the economy because innovations come in the midst of these hardships. Zoom has become popular. Online ministry has become popular. I did a video here for a church in Qatar during the lockdown. I did a video to Robo Progress Union in America during that period. So innovations come in, and I will tell you, I've been blessed by being online. Innovations come in. Okay, you started a cooperative in Cameroon and you need my help. You need to communicate with me privately on my WhatsApp number. So Ruth had to re-strategize and went to glean. As she was gleaning, she brought 13 kilograms of barley in that she met Boaz, who solved her economic problems. So we started to farm, and as we were farming, things were happening. The videos we got from the farm led to fame, led to financial breakthrough, led to fitness, led to fun, led to food being available. I don't buy gari, I don't buy fufu from my farm, and it has led to a fortune. We have bought real estate, several real estate businesses from that economic hardship. From one video I did, and a real estate business started. The next thing you must do when you have an harsh economic situation is reduction. You need to reduce your indulgences. The number of drinks you take per day, the number of whatever you do, you can reduce them, you won't die, you will even be healthier. You need to reduce your movement. Don't go to places, you call the people. When people tell me they want to come and see me, I say, call me. So you still need my number. Who is this? You need my number, +234 5213 6763. My administrator is not around. He will have put it up for you. +234 70 5213 6763. So, reduction. Reduce your movement. Reduce your food portions. We reduced our food portions. You won't die. Reduce your sleep time. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come. So reduce your sleep time. One of the things I did when I came from the East, in those days I used to sleep Saturday till 12. I reduced that. I started using my Saturdays to become more productive. I reduced my sleep time at night. I wrote more than 30 to 40 books at night. Reduce your sleep time. Reduce your cost of production. I couldn't publish big books at one time, so I started publishing pamphlets using a system that I call the Ogbanje formula. We'll print 20 copies, 30 copies, 100 copies. It was from there we started selling and generated revenue to print bigger books. So reduce cost of production, reduce quantity of production, but be in the market. Then reduce wastages. Don't waste electricity. Don't waste water. Reduce redundant staff. Any staff that is not productive in your business, reduce some of them. Reduce redundant utilities, consumptive utilities. During the recent currency change, I have a big SUV there that consumes fuel. When you say boom, 1 liter is gone. I said, no, you are dangerous this time. So I kept it. Now I've gone to service it again. I'm going to put on the AC. I'm trying to reduce the fuel consumption. I can now use it for ceremonies. I don't go to ceremonies for preaching engagement. Hardly go to ceremonies. Then reuse. Don't throw things away anyhow. Reuse. Let me explain to you. You might find it very funny. When I wash my clothing, because I pump my water apart from the solar power, when I used public power supply then, I had not bought the solar pump. When I wash my clothes, I use the water to flush my toilet. I put some in the tank so that when I want to flush again, I use the water to flush. Then I clean the toilet. You reuse. Find the use for some of the things that are in the house. Find a use for them. When you find use for them, you don't need to go and buy immediately. It is called fitness for purpose. You can collect your scrap from your vehicles and resell them, and you will make money. So then exercise restraint, another arrow. Deal with impulsivity. Don't be impulsive. A guest preacher comes, he's preaching a powerful message, and he's raising money. Think, have you paid your house rent? Have you paid your school fees? Don't be impulsive. Don't give stupidly. Be led by the Spirit of God. God is not a gambler that when you give, he will just pay you back. No. Don't be impulsive. You must not attend every conference. You must not go for every program. You must not go for every church program. Somebody was carrying me as a guest preacher in Umuahia, and they called him. They said, I'm with our guest speaker. I asked him, is that a customer? He said, yes. I said, my friend, call him immediately and tell him I will soon be with you. Go and drop me in the hotel and go and solve your business problem so that you can bring more money, you can earn more money, and the church will prosper. Don't neglect your business because of me, guest speaker. Impulsivity. People are going to be very desperate in economic hardships. Don't satisfy their greed. They will want to eat your money. So as much as possible, be very careful before you reinvest, because the next thing is reinvestment. This is where cooperatives come in. One of the things I will be so glad should happen in Africa is that we will replicate what Muhammad Yunus has done in Bangladesh. Bangladesh was one time a very poor country. Today, Bangladesh has crawled out of poverty because of the Grameen Bank, because of cooperatives. In India, cooperatives. In Brazil, cooperatives. In Britain, some of those big old houses you see were built by cooperatives. Cooperatives, I didn't know for some time that there was Federal Cooperative College in Kaduna, Cooperative College in Ogu, Cooperative College in Ogbomoso or Osogbo area. Cooperative is a course of study. Children don't know about compound interest. We know very little about business. We are trained to become civil servants who are called civilized slaves. You are a civilized slave because you don't know how to manage. I don't have network glitches here. I've only had one, maybe it's in your area. So cooperatives, form cooperatives. Go to the ministries of commerce in your country, in your states, in your towns, and learn about cooperatives. Cooperatives will provide a pool of resources for you that you can get cheap capital from. That was how we built our second beautiful school at Okwokoko during the lockdown, during the economic hardships. We had saved regularly in our cooperatives so that we could take loans at low interest rates, because one of the problems in Africa and in Nigeria in particular is high interest rates. The IMF and these wicked institutions will tell us to increase interest rates and all that, while in their countries, interest rates are between 0 to 0.2%. And they have venture capitals and all that, so that they have cheap resources to do projects. So reinvest, and you must get into cooperatives. It has helped us a great deal, helped us in solving emergencies. Then, if you have real estate, another arrow, you will see everything I'm telling you: arrow 1, arrow 2, arrow 3, review, reinvest, reduce. So The next arrow is real estate. When you are the buoyant years, please buy real estate. When the economy is hard, you can now sell some of your real estate. When you sell, don't plunge the whole money into frivolities, into vain projects. When you sell, use half of the money to go and buy another real estate somewhere cheaper where you can buy bigger land, then share the half into two, reinvest 1/4, and then keep the remaining 1/4 as a buffer. In the times of hardship, relationships come into play. And that was how Boaz was able to help Ruth and Naomi from their economic frustrations. Relationships matter. Cultivate good relationships. Cultivate relationships because your relationships form your network, and your network is your net worth. The relationships I've cultivated have helped me. You can buy materials on credit and pay later. You can get what is called love capital, and you can get what is called trust capital, including your sweat capital. Sweat capital, during economic hardship, do some of the things yourself. I was farming, my wife was farming, my children were farming, my wife's PA was farming. So those we needed to pay were less. When I harvested cucumbers, my daughter carried the cucumbers in her car and drove them to go and sell. Me, I carried to sell in the market. One day I was in the market, one Igbudu market, and I was selling cucumber. There's a man I see on Facebook, well dressed. He calls himself Bishop. I saw him in a tricycle, we call it Keke Napep. He was doing his own hustle, carrying passengers. And he was looking at me, whether is that Dr. Apoki, that is a guest preacher that I'm seeing selling cucumber. Then me, I was looking at him, whether he was the bishop. And I called him Bishop, and he hailed me. Me, I hailed him. He's hustling his hustle, and I was hustling my hustle. No deal, no shame. Money is an idiot. He has no respect for any person. I was carrying cucumbers, potatoes, and whatever to a supermarket at Warri very early to go and supply. Recently, the husband of that woman invited me as a guest preacher to their church to teach on investment and business. And they paid me, and that video is trending. As much as possible, these things I have showed to you, I've taught you. I believe you are reliable men and women and trust to others. Let's spread this message around Africa so that our continent can grow and we can live good lives. A pastor called me from Agbaro, a bishop, that children are leaving the church to go and do fraud, yahoo. I told them it is because the church is not teaching them how to become wealthy. The church is giving them promises that are not materializing, hope capital. The church must teach these children how to be wealthy. My children will not do yahoo because they will not do internet fraud, because I've provided a background for them to be comfortable, and they themselves are comfortable. Spread this message. Click the notification button, subscribe, share with others. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I will just take 2 questions and I'm done. 2 questions. Are there any 2 questions from any person in any country? And then I am done. 2 questions. I am done. Yes. 2 questions. I am done. Thank you so much, Francis. Thank you so much, Bright. Thank you. Oh, the other name is gone. Thank you so much from all over the world. You have tuned in. God bless you. Remember to share this video because it's midnight in some places. It's very early morning in some places. Share the video so that others will wake up and see it. God bless you. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki.